Hello and welcome to Experiences and Perspectives, the podcast where we explore and reflect on how to live a healthy, joyous, and creative life. I'm your host Siddharth Srivastav, and our today's topic is journaling and turning 20. And to discuss this topic, we have a compelling guest, Saniya Sethi. She is a published author, a podcaster at Might Thought Traffic, and currently a first year biotechnology student. So let's begin the talk. The first question I would like to ask you is how has your year been till now?
Okay, so are you talking about 2023?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my 2023 has been, as of now, it's been more of academics and it's been more academically oriented. I'm definitely missing family because as the year started, my exams begun. So I've just been in my room among my books and my roommates. And it's sometimes fun, you get to experience this, not often. So the year has been good. It's been fine and just very academic.
Okay. So, are you excited for the talk?
I am very excited for the talk. I've told all my friends that I'm going to be here, and they all are very excited for me.
Okay. So, my first question is how do you do journaling? What is
Okay.
your way to journal?
Okay, so initially when I used to journal, it used to be uh, on pen and paper. I mean, it is still on pen and paper, but it is more of digital now. Initially, I used to simply just write down whatever happened, and it used to be at any point of time of the day, sometimes in the evening, whenever I'm feeling like I want to write. I never used to like have a routine, like I'm going to write every night or every morning. So now I usually just write whenever I have to record something, I have to write something down. That's when I open my notes app, or I have a notebook with me all the time. That's where I fill everything. And I also do gratitude journaling, and that I do every morning. So that's how I do journaling.
Okay, that's cool. So, your main thing is written journaling, right?
Yes.
So, when and how did you begin journaling?
Okay, so it all started when I started watching Best of Luck Nikki, and there used to be this like video diary thing, which the protagonist's sister used to do, and it used to be really fun to watch. And that's when I got the concept of like daily recording, like you could record your daily life and everything all of that. And then I started reading a lot of books, and basically all these Mary Kate Olsen books, and there used to be like dear diary entries, and that's how I started in sixth grade. I started like typical dear diary entries, so that's how it all began.
Then it would be easy to get a score in English. Because,
Yes. I am actually a really good writer, so I kind of
okay,
boast on that. But yes, it used to be good to like score in English. I used to write a lot. I still write a lot.
that could be seen. You are a published author now.
Thank you.
Okay. So it is a concept or a belief that journaling is more of an introvert thing. Like introverts, as they don't express their feelings to the outside world and people more often. So it is their thing to uh, express their emotions and feelings on a paper and just be more comfortable with it. So do you think, because you are an extrovert as you mentioned in some of your episodes, and you still do journaling, so do you think is that statement correct, and what are the benefits you think are there of journaling which aren't specifically for a personality type?
Okay, so first of all, I disagree on the fact that journaling is only for introverted people. Journaling, anyone can do journaling. If I am an extrovert, as I've mentioned in my podcast, and I'm quite of an extrovert, I like to socialize, I like to meet many people, I gain energy through people. So I journal. The reason I journal is because I like recording my daily life. I like, creating these little analogs, these little diaries, little monologues of just what I've been doing because I like to look back on these things. I have a lot of journals from when I was a teenager, or from when I was, this really cringy kid in school, and it's really fun to read them. But sometimes I also see my growth from where I was and where I am. So that's why I journal. And yes, it can also be said that introverts usually journal more because they like to keep their feelings with themselves and write them on a paper rather than share them with the outside world. And I also do have those kind of feelings which I don't like to share with anyone. I just write them down. I have a lot of notes like those, so I also journal that way. But I disagree on the fact that journaling is only for introverted people. And speaking of the benefits of journaling, regardless of the personality type, it is definitely really good for your mental health because I, as a person who overthinks a lot, whatever I think about, I just write it down, and that's when I realize that whatever I was thinking was nonsense. It does not make sense. So I simply, I kind of realized that not all my thoughts are rational or comprehend. Like, you can't comprehend all your thoughts into something. They're just sometimes they're just floating in your mind. So that's one thing. Secondly, is I love it. As I said before, I love recording my daily life. I love recording what I'm doing, where I am at, and who are my friends. And I like to look back on these things. So that's why I think these are the benefits of journaling.
Okay. Keep a record of everything you are doing in your life. That's the
Yes.
main thing for you. Okay.
Yes.
And you have been doing the written journaling. I personally have been trying many different types of journaling.
Okay.
Firstly, I began with written journals for few days in
Okay.
2020. It began in 2020 for me because that was a bit of a good as well as bad time for me.
Okay.
I went through a depression for few months. So after while trying to overcome it, somebody suggested me to do journaling. It will help you. So I first began written journals for a few days, and then I got to hear about video journaling. It was
Yes.
something which I feared about. Whenever I used to see the camera, I was like, why is the camera looking at me? So and
Yes.
so I began making video journals. I used to record myself every night before going to bed and speak out all the things I did in the whole day. And I gradually got to know that it improved my English, because when I used to speak in English, the whole things without even thinking. So it built my confidence as well as improved my English to a great extent. So, and then I currently am trying audio journaling
Oh, that's
because
good.
I began it this year only. It was a change which I decided to make this year. So audio journaling has been good till it's 11th today. So today would be the 11th day,
Hey,
and I
nice.
feel like it would be great, and it is going great as audio journals. So okay,
That is good because I tried like audio journaling because once, so that's how my podcast started. I would just randomly record myself talking, and then I was like, oh, we could like recreate this into a podcast because I used to listen to a lot of podcasts before, and I was like, this sounds cool. But I have a couple of recordings of me just talking about my day, and it is so fun to re-listen because I used to do so immature stuff back when I was small, and it's just really, really interesting and curious to look at the growth from where I was and where I am, because when you grow, the way you think changes, people around you change. My environment has completely changed since I came to college, so it's really fun about that. And yes, it definitely builds a lot of confidence as well because you like being in front of camera, speaking out loud, and when you're doing audio journaling, you are speaking, so your fluency gets better with time.
okay. So journaling has been a very great thing for you as well as for me. So
Exactly.
the next question I would like to ask you is, you're a published author with two books, The Matter of 5 Minutes and The Void of Words. So, was it your plan or dream to become a published author before turning 20?
Okay, absolutely not. I'll tell you one thing, absolutely not. What happened was my first book, A Matter of 5 Minutes. It is a funny story. It is a really funny story, and basically, I was bored. One of my friends told me one of his incidents which happened with him, and I tried to recreate it into a fictional story. And then I decided to publish it as an Amazon Kindle ebook, and I was like, okay, this is looking good. But then when I did everything on my own, I did the manuscript on my own, I did the cover page on my own. I had no one helping me because it was just it is self-publishing, and I just published it when I was like what 17, and yes, it just went out. It's just there. It's just floating on the internet. I don't look. It's kind of embarrassing now, but I'm okay with it just being there because it's kind of a record. I've seen again. See again, I've grown. Speaking of my second book, The Word of Words, which is my first poetry collection, I did want to publish my poems one day in life, but I never really set a goal for myself or a time limit for myself that I'll do it before I'm 20 or I'll do it when I'm teen myself. it just happened on its own, and I kind of I was like looking at sometimes just things just align, like things, time, and it just synchronizes everything, and like this feels like the right time to start working on it and publishing it. And then you find a self publishing firm which helps you, and you find just everything just uh, just fits into
Everything goes
place.
perfect as planned.
Yes, exactly. That's what happened with my book. Everything just fit into place, and it felt like the right time to publish it. And I just published it before I came to college, so that was a dream. Like it felt so surreal. And when I told it to all my, when I announced it with my friends and my family, it was a big deal. It was a big deal because first of all, it does not matter if my book is good or not. I just published a book. That's a big deal. And
Definitely.
people who read it, like when I came to college, people were extremely impressed by the fact that I published a book. And when I would show them my copy, they would, look at the pages and you wrote this, and I'm like, yeah, I wrote this. Like it feels great. It feels like a dream come true.
I'm expecting to feel the same when I publish my first book.
When are you publishing a first book? Oh my god.
Yeah, cause it was scheduled to be published in November last year, but
Okay.
situation didn't went right, so
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
to
It didn't fit
postpone
into
it.
place. I have this thing, I like to believe that when something doesn't go like you planned it to go, there is something better waiting. So if there is anything which happened which didn't go, which just didn't fall right, or just situation just went worse and worse, there's always something better waiting. And I've experienced this a couple of times, not a couple of times, like one big time in my life, and then when I realized, okay, there's something better in my life, and I'm there right now, so it's great.
Yeah. When did you begin writing? Cause I've heard you saying in one of your episodes that you began creating beauties with your words since a very young age.
It is so funny. Oh my god. Okay, so me writing and journaling is just hand in hand, right? So I started journaling. I started writing poetry initially. It was just like random rhyming words like pink, 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 something, something, link. Random. No, it made no sense. But then I, started reading more poems. I started not like just English literature poems in my textbook. And I would sometimes show them to my teacher, and they would like it. So they would publish it in the school magazine, or they would publish in the school newspaper. That's when I realized that, oh, I'm not that bad of a writer, and then my thoughts just started aligning into poems and like just rhyming words, and it would feel nice to just write them down somewhere. And then when I realized that oh my god, I have so many poems which I could actually publish now, and some of them are extremely good. Some of them have impressed people. Some of them have impressed me. Sometimes I am amazed by my own writing, my own creative ability. So that's one thing.
So when was exactly in which class did you write your first poem?
It was sixth grade. It was about the color pink, and I indeed love the color pink now.
Definitely, it was your first creation.
So what have you
So
been writing? Actually, I would love to know what have you been writing.
my writing, I'd been creating, cause creation was something which I got from my mother. So she used to write stories earlier, but she left. So me along with my brother, we both create some things. I write stories, and my brother write poems and shairi.
Oh, that is
Okay,
impressive.
so
Shairi
for
is good.
me, earlier when I was in 9th, 10th grade, I began writing for the first time. I used to create stories in my mind since I was in 7th grade, in the form of lucid dreams. Do you know what it is?
Okay,
I've
I
been,
do. I have a very vague idea about lucid dreams, but not exactly. I know that maybe you can control your dreams, or you can.
yeah, that's
So I
exactly
don't.
it
I
is.
don't know. Oh, okay. I didn't. I
So,
didn't know that I could do
lucid
that.
dream began in me in when I was in 7th grade, and it I wasn't aware of what it was, but I loved doing it. So I began creating stories, fake scenarios, and sometimes those stories were really amazing. So when I was in 9th grade, I began writing one. I wrote around 80-90 pages of it, and then one day my mom came to know about it.
Okay.
You can guess what
Was
would have
that
happened.
was that
The
embarrassing, or
book,
was your mom
that
amazed?
diary was thrown in dustbin.
Oh my god, why?
Cause then they used to. Then I wasn't a very good kid. I don't used to study at all. and I lost interest in writing anything again. Then suddenly in the year 2021, while I was overcoming that depression period, so one friend came to me. I would like to share this story. That was a very interesting story which happened to
Sure.
me.
Yes.
I was to cope up with issues. I began using some online dating apps. It was
Oh my
I
God.
wasn't aware of. It is not that thing. I was bit depressed, so I had no friends at that time, no
Okay.
connections, and it was lockdown, so I can't go out. My mom used to scold me for always sitting at the room, and that wasn't exactly a dating platform then. It was a
Okay.
platform which began, and I was its beta tester. It was
Okay.
a friendship platform, more of a friendship platform based on MBTI. So
Okay.
I was exploring this concept, and somehow I got the chance to become the beta tester of it. And did some work for its development as well. So I continued using it. One day, I made a friend, Shirley. I am so blessed to have her as a friend. One day, she challenged me on a weekend, that on the weekend, the one who has less screen time of his phone along with laptop would create something for the other person.
That is interesting.
And luckily I lost. And from there, as it was a challenge to create something for her, so I wrote a story. And you won't believe, I created the whole story. That story is around 7,000 or 8,000 words long, and I created the whole story in just 10 minutes. I was walking in the terrace, and I created the whole story. I just came down and wrote 5 pages at the moment. I was like, wow, I can write something. In
Yes.
1 week I completed that story, and I decided to give myself that same challenge once again to other people. And through that thing, I wrote 4 stories in just a month.
That's
And
impressive.
from there, it came the motivation to me that I could be a writer, I can write well. And the stories which I wrote were based on particular concepts, like one was based on astral projection, one was based on human animal interaction, one was
Okay.
based on teleportation. So I created
Right.
those things, and from there, I got to believe that I need to publish this book. I set the
Okay.
target to 1 year from now. It began in November 2021. I started
Okay.
writing it, and I
Yeah.
decided that in November 2022 I would publish it. So I began writing it. I wrote around 8 stories for the book and did all the editing, formatting, everything. But at the final moment when I was about to publish, I was like, I am not well qualified to publish it right now.
What made you feel that?
Because currently my parents don't know about this.
It's fine. Even my parents had no idea that I write so much that I could publish. And I just one day told them that I have a manuscript and I would just like to publish it. And they were fine with it. They were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And they're proud of me for that.
They're always proud of us, but currently I think uh, when I'm able to accomplish what they desire, then I would focus on my goals. So currently they
Okay.
desire, as I'm in third year, so they want me to get well placed. So
I get that.
I thought that after I will get placed, I will publish the books. So that was
So
the
you're
thing which came to my
waiting.
mind. Until then, 2 books got completed. And
That's good. You have content to publish after you get placed. That is
yeah,
good because you
definitely.
satisfy your
And I'm
parents.
currently working on another novel.
That's great. I mean, you never know which thing could go right, and if you publish your books after you get placed, number one, your parents are satisfied; they're happy with where you are in life, and you are also satisfied that your parents are happy, and then you can, fulfill your own desires by publishing the book.
That's what the thought came to my mind. Because first thing is our parents. For me, my first priority is my parents. Then comes myself. So I thought about them, and then I will think about me. That was the thing
I
for
get
me.
that
The
you don't want to
story
do
and
like I relate to you in some ways. We have a parallel on that. That I would. I would not want to disappoint my parents in any other way just because I prioritized myself so much. And sometimes we don't make the best decisions for ourselves. And it's just sometimes better to focus what our parents told us to do so that we don't like mess up in the middle.
Yeah.
So, all these stories that you write, um, are you sure, did you like find a publishing firm which will help you publish them, or did you reach out to publishing firms, or did you reach out to other editors or writers which will help you publish this? How are you going about the process?
This process is like I have done everything for the book. I have done its editing on my own and its formatting as well. And I got a friend who is a graphic designer, so she designed the cover for me as well. So all I need to do right now is get a self publication platform, which I
Right.
have currently figured out one. So I would use that platform to get it published.
That's good.
That's
You have everything figured out, so all you have to do is just get
it's just
placed.
to get it published.
Just get a job and you can publish books now.
That's what it is right now. After I will get my placement, and I will next day I will be published. I would be a published author.
I'm waiting for that day because I would really like to read what you write since you have also like been
Yeah, you
through my
can have
writings.
some manuscripts of that. I would share if you like
That
to
would be
read.
great. I would like to be an editor, of course. Like if I could contribute in any way in your book, I would love to.
I've already ordered the Void of Words of you. It's gonna be here tomorrow, I guess.
I I love that. Do let me know if like how you like it and if there's feedback.
Yeah, sure.
That would be
So,
great.
while I had to ask you one thing, as you have been creating for so long time, so currently when you need to create, so then you have to go into a creative state of your mind, or creativity just never stops in your mind.
Okay, so creating what? Because I create a lot of things. Like create what? Exactly. Like is
Uh,
it a podcast? Is it
exactly like
poetry?
poetry or any story, because journaling is a random creativity and
So it's
creating
mainly writing.
specific things. Yeah.
Okay, so since I do like a lot of things, I also am into a little bit into filmmaking, into editing, into podcasting, and then into writing as well. For me, writing comes, I don't wait, I don't get into a creative mindset. I just, it's just, I like to keep it natural. So I don't like to force myself, ki, oh, I need to write something today or something like that. If there are days which I don't write good, and there are days where I write so well that I am amazed by myself. And that happens when you let the creative juices flow naturally in your mind. So whenever I feel like writing, I write, and that's when I get the best. And I write the best when I'm feeling something at such an emotional or an extreme level. It comes out beautifully on the pages. So I don't ever really get into a creative state, or it's not that I'm always in a creative mindset. I am an engineering student. I'm not always creative. So yeah, I don't get into a creative mindset. I just if I feel like writing, I write, and I never really force myself to get into a creative state, basically.
Okay. Are you currently working on your new books?
I was first initially, I think in April 2022, after um, I published a matter of 5 minutes. I was not working on the Void of Words then, but I was writing a couple of stories, and I still have like the outlines for them, but now they don't make any sense. So I'm not working on any books as of now.
Okay. Any plans for future in this year?
In terms of writing, not actually, nothing at all. I have a blog, by the way. I maintain that blog since I was a child, and I just put everything there. So if I have anything which I wrote and I want to like show it to the people, but I don't want to like publish it or for me to publish it, I just put it on my blog. So it's just there. It's like a little creative
Okay.
outlet. So
I
I don't have
haven't
anything.
I haven't
Um,
visited your blog yet. Today I would go to
Yeah,
there.
it's deep in the stacks of the internet. It was my first ever content. Like I create so much, and that was my first ever content. Content like people could actually like you could actually Google my name and find out about my blog. That was
Yeah.
scary because people in school started doing that, and I was embarrassed. Like, please don't read my blog.
Okay. My next question would be, do you feel anxious by the fact that you are 20 now?
Yes, it's scary. It is so scary. You have no clue. The day I turned 20, out of course, it was a grand celebration for me because I love my birthday. I love my birthday. I love every second of my birthday. But at the same time, this time I was entering a new decade of my life. I was entering my 20s, and oh my god, it was so much pressure. I was like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Should I start waking up at 5 a.m. every day and do mindset journaling and then work out and then go for a walk and then just be that 5 a.m. person now? I'm like, what should I do with my life now? But I do get anxious about that, but I think it's fine because I'm just in my first year of college. Everything will, I'll just find my way very soon. And the one thing that I do is that if I get an opportunity for something, I like to say yes for it. So that's how I will, expose myself to newer things, and that's how I will gain experience. So as a 20-year-old, if I just saying, what if I had said no to no to this talk show, I wouldn't be experiencing any of this. So for me, my 20s is all about experiencing new things and maintaining the relationships that I have in my life, and at the same time creating new ones.
Okay. Had you earlier planned of what were the things you have to do before turning 20?
When when I was maybe 19, what I had thought that I'll do before I turn 20, is that your question?
19,
Okay.
18, 16. From 16 we begin to think about our future, I guess, for most of us.
Yes. So not really. It is still kind of unbelievable that I'm 20 because I don't feel like a 20-year-old, honestly. Like, am I supposed to feel old? Like some of my friends do call me, like tease me with Didi and stuff, and I'm like, please don't call me that. I don't even look 20. But no, on a serious note, I never really thought of things that I have to do before I turn 20. I always have a list of things I have to do in a year, maybe, like a list of things I have to do, like a bucket list in general. But I never really had a list of things I have to do before I turn 20 because there is nothing, there is nothing I can not do as a 20-year-old. Like, there's nothing I
Okay.
can, like, I can still, like, fool around like a teenager. Nobody would care.
Yeah.
It's not
So you
about
plan
maturity, it's just
everything.
about having fun.
Okay. So you plan everything out for a year beforehand.
I do vision boards and all of these. So I do have certain goals and how I want to grow emotionally and academically and socially as a person in a year. So I don't have I don't have like milestones like, oh, publish a book or do this or do that. I do have my podcast on my vision board this time because I want to start focusing on it more. But at the same time, I do have such emotional, social, or academic goals which I want to achieve in a year. So I do kind of plan out my year, but not. I don't have a time limit. Like, I don't have to do this before January, or I don't have to do this before Feb or December. I just I just let myself be because you can't plan everything out. I do stay organized, but at the same time, I don't plan my entire year, like, time wise.
And about the day, you make to-do list every day.
I have stopped making to-do lists since I came to college. This is a very bad
Why?
habit. I because okay, I wake up and I attend classes and the day just gets over. I don't even realize it. I don't know why. The day just flies by. I don't even realize, like, I'm in class and I'm attending classes and I'm paying attention. At the same time, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm with friends. I'm in my room. I'm sometimes working on some personal projects. I'm like, oh my god, where did the day go? So I have for some reason stopped getting to, but I do always have a reminders on my phone, so it is always flashing on my lock screen, so I know what to do today. Like, what are some things that I need to do today? So I have a priority list, not a to-do list, but a priority list that I have to do.
That's great. And in the first year, it's very busy. I could see new freshers coming to my college, and they have no time. But I had a lot of time, which I wasted.
As a fresher, I am like, I don't even know. My first semester is over after 2 days. My first semester will get over, and it is so scary because where did it go? Like, I didn't even realize. I don't know if I learned anything new in the first semester. It just flied. It is so scary. So time flies.
Yeah, first semester is quite easy. It's same for every branch.
Yes, it's the same for every branch. I do have common subjects with people from other branches such as CUE or electronics or electrical, but um, I am very busy, man. I don't know why I'm busy. I don't do anything. I'm just busy. Like I'm attending classes and I'm here. And I think I waste a lot of time, personally speaking, and I'm trying to be good at that. I've just accepted the fact that I've suddenly become a person who wastes time since I came to college because I'm like, oh, and now I'll just like relax or something. But now I'm, but now that I've realized that I've wasted one semester, I need to get back on track.
Do you think is it good to believe that you are wasting time, or you need to work on this thing?
So basically, I realized after my mid semester exams that I am wasting time. I don't like the thing about me is that I used to do this time blocking thing where I used to plan out what I'm gonna do from this hour to this hour, and now it does not align because after my classes get over, sorry, after my classes get over, either I have a society thing, which is very rarely because I have like just enrolled into societies, or for some reason I'm hanging out with my friends, and I don't realize where time goes then, or I'm just in my room editing something. So time flies. The thing is, I've accepted the fact that I'm wasting time. So now, once you accept something, once you realize the problem, you can then start working on it. So I don't, I've not made this like an inner belief that I waste time. I'm trying to work on it. If I waste time, I will identify why I waste time, where is my time going, and then I will maybe work on it. Maybe not. Maybe I will definitely work on it.
You have to.
I have to work on it.
Yeah, I think we know the solution of all the problems we are facing, but
We just don't.
we just
We
don't believe that we are capable to solve it. Do you
I
feel the
get
same?
that. Sometimes I think people get overwhelmed by their problems and they just leave everything. They're like, okay, we'll just do this all later. They just procrastinate their entire issues. So they and I see some of my friends. They're so overwhelmed by the fact that they have to do so many things. Like they have to do this, they have to do that. Like when we have when we had our internal week going on, like all our quizzes and all our practical lab evaluations were going on. Everyone was so overwhelmed. But if you actually sit and think about it, it is very easy
Yeah.
to manage all of this. So all you have to do is just sit, breathe, and give it time, and then you will realize that all everything is doable and manageable. So all you have to do is just believe you can do it. Sit with yourself, take a pen and paper, and just write down everything that you do, and just make a priority list. That's my go to.
Definitely. That's the thing, the best thing about journaling. When I came to the college in the end of fourth semester, I too had time issues. I had plans to work on different things, but I wasn't getting any time. So one day I was sitting in the library. I took out my diary and wrote all the problems I had been facing after coming to the hostel. Because when I was at home, I had a lot of time, but still I had I was doing nothing, just
Same.
the writing thing. Because writing was like, since the day I began writing the book, there hasn't been a single day which when I haven't worked on my book, any of the books. Either I have
Okay.
written at least 100 to 200 words, or I have created some sort of plot or character. So
Okay.
it has been a continuous thing for me. But when I came to the hostel, it was like I wasn't getting any time. I wrote down all the problems. It came out about a page long. I had around 12 problems.
Oh my
I was like,
god.
seriously, do I seriously have 12 problems? And then I decided to I wrote the problems on one page, and on the other side I wrote on the top solution to the given problems. And I
Yes.
began without thinking anything. I read the problem and I gave the solution to it as if it was a question paper and I had to answer it. And
Yes.
when I completed writing the solution to everything, I was like, wow, I created the solution to everything. And that's the perfect solution.
Exactly. I think we just don't realize that there's a solution for everything. We just have to sit, think about it, and implement it. It's right in front of us. We just don't realize it because we're so overwhelmed by, all that's going on in our life. And sometimes it's actually nothing going on in our life. We're just overwhelmed by the fact that we have to wake up in the morning sometimes.
Yeah. And I guess writing is the most important thing. When we
Writing,
write the problems, it's already half solved. that the
Exactly.
problem is shared with the notebook. And I feel like the notebook only gives the motivation to write the solution, and the problem is solved.
Exactly. I think a problem, I always say this, a problem defined is a problem half solved. So once you know what the problem is, you can, the solutions are mostly easy. There's nothing you can't solve, especially like such problems like maybe college life or, academic or something you can't manage your time. There's always a solution for something. We just have to sit and implement it. We don't have to, again, waste time.
Yeah. So my next question would be, what would you like to advise your 16-year-old Saniya Sethi, and what do you think it would bring the change on your current self?
Okay, so something that I would say to 16-year-old myself, like in my past self, is that I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I was such a menace when I was 16. I was all over the place. I was very chaotic. I've become very calm as I've grown, I guess. But I was extremely chaotic and I used to talk a lot. I mean, that is still prevalent, but I used to talk a lot. I need to calm down. Like, I used to panic very easily. I had a lot of, I won't say anxiety, but I used to overthink back then too. So, I would just like to say that you are 16, you are very young, extremely young, you are a child. Um, Stop paying attention to your what your peers are doing. Do what you want. And I would also like to thank my 16-year-old self to start creating content. Like, I started a little bit of YouTube and I started learning video editing when I was 16 years old. So I would like to thank myself for that. But at the same time, I would like to tell myself that calm down, don't overthink that much. It is useless. And stop paying attention to what your peers are doing and do what you want. And that's how, and if maybe I knew all this advice when I was 16, right now I would be a much, much calmer person. I would have more rational thoughts. And I think I would, maybe, I still don't care what people, do. I just do my own thing. But I think I would be a little less conscious of what people talk about me or what people think about what I write or what I say or, anything which I do on the internet. So I would like to be less conscious in that area.
How do you think you should manage? One should manage what people say about us, because some it really matters. Because how many times we say that others' words don't affect us, but they does to
They
some
do,
extent.
yes.
So how do you manage it?
Okay, so I am not a great person who gives advice, but something that I follow when anybody just comes up and tell me, oh, they were saying this about you, or maybe I heard through someone that they were saying this about me, or if I just get thoughts that what if they think this about me, I just calm myself down and I ask myself, is this going to matter to me in like the next 2 years? Is their opinion going to make an impact on me? If there's someone saying that I don't like the way Sanya edits her videos, or I don't like the way maybe something, anything really tiny or minute, anybody's opinion on you does not should not affect you because it does not influence you. In At the end of the day, if you start doing um, what people say, if I change the way I edit my videos, or if I change the way somebody is talking, like maybe somebody's talking about the way I talk or anything, basically, if I change that, at the end of the day, I won't be happy with what I have or what I am because I am a creation of what they wanted me to be. And they still won't be satisfied with it. So I'd just rather do what I want. And I am very satisfied with what I create. And I just like it to be better and I try to do my best with everything that I put out. So if I get these thoughts, I sit and I'm like, Sanya, does this matter to you? And my inner self says, actually, not really. So I'm like, yeah, you can shut up now and start and study maybe physics or biology. I don't know. I distract myself. That's also one thing I do. I just distract myself because most of my thoughts can sometimes be very irrational.
Okay. So I have a thing that when we begin to distract ourselves from such things, not specifically to bad words or a wrong interpretation of our creations, but also personal conflicts with other people. when we begin to control those emotions at the moment. Like, there's a situation when someone says wrong or very bad about us, and we control our anger, and which it gets accumulated in our mind for a longer duration of time. I think that those accumulated emotions create a negative impact on us. So it's better to give those emotions uh, the priority they require. Uh, they should be treated like those emotions also matter. They should be given the priority, and we should feel those emotions. Like, we feel anger for someone, or we feel sad. Other better the, we whenever we feel sad, we listen to music or do something to distract us and make ourselves feel happier. But that sad emotion gets accumulated, and someday or other it causes a lot of more problems and more sadness. So I believe we should respect those emotions as well, and give the time they require and they deserve. And then only every emotions would be sorted out, and no problems would be there in our mind.
I get you. I don't mean to say that we should distract ourselves from every single thought that we have related to a third person or a second person in our life. But at the same time, I believe that if there is something which is bugging you a lot, first of all, if it is from a stranger, if it is from someone I don't even know, an acquaintance, I hardly see them in college, or I hardly know them, or I hardly, I hardly ever spoke to them in my school. They don't really matter to me, like what they think about me, because they don't really impact my life directly. Or maybe if my roommate thinks something about me, and if I get this feeling that maybe something is wrong, I like to communicate it, and I just like to confront it. I like to go straight, and I like to ask her what went wrong, and is there anything I can do to solve it. That's how I like to approach it. We should not keep a grudge, basically. We should, keeping a grudge is just, why would you want to keep a grudge for anyone? Just solve it, and if it cannot get solved, just let it be. Like, forgive people. I don't know, because keeping a grudge is just wasting your own energy on it. Why are you, why are you living with this thought with yourself? Just let it go. Why are you wasting your own energy on it? So either talk to them and don't keep a grudge. There is no point keeping a grudge on anything. I just don't like to keep grudges with people. I just like to forget. Like, over time, everything just gets better, so it's all right. And yes, I think people should not definitely not distract them, not distract themselves if there is something which is bugging them, or which is something which is um, you know really eating them up from the inside. They should definitely speak to the person which with which the conflict is going on.
It's all most of the conflicts are due to misunderstanding, I guess.
Yes, and miscommunication, like misunderstanding and miscommunication. Sometimes they are thinking something else, we are thinking something else. The minds just don't align at that point. So misunderstandings are very normal, and it's okay. And most misunderstandings are very small, and in the end, you just have to solve it and just laugh at it in the end. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
And a person should also learn to say sorry if it is their mistake. And this is a very attractive trait in people, when they know when to say sorry and when they know when to accept their mistake. Because people tend to come across as arrogant when they do not accept what they maybe did. So it is a very common thing that if a person says sorry, they don't become smaller. It's just that
definitely.
you just accepted your mistake, and that's fine. Does You don't become smaller, or you don't become inferior by doing that.
Yeah, I believe that uh, this is due to something. I believe that the reason for this ignorance and arrogance is that they don't really understand their emotions themselves as well. Because if they would understand what their emotion is at the moment, they would accept it, and they would try to change in some way or the other. They just don't listen to their own thoughts, just speak out or act before thinking. So thinking is more important before any act.
I get that. Sometimes, like when people are angry, they don't think; they just act at that point, and then that is when everything. That's when you are angry. You are not thinking what you're doing. You just You just like kind of erupt like that. You just as a you just like when a balloon bursts, that's how you are. It's very funny to actually see
Yeah.
people angry sometimes. So it's I get that sometimes the person in front of us also like does not know what's going on with them. We should give them time. We should give them time. And you know I used to be this person who would want to solve problems right then. Like if I have a problem with anyone, I would like to go to them right then. What's the problem? Even if they're sitting in a very overwhelmed situation, I would run up to them. What happened? What happened? Tell me, tell me, tell me. And I have realized so much in my life in the past year, 2022, that we need to give people time. We need to give people time to process their own emotions because not everybody is a emotion processor. They take time and they will slowly realize what went wrong, how it went wrong, and the conversation will go back to where it started from, so it's completely fine.
Yeah. So, the final question from my side would be,
Oh my
according to
god,
the
is this
script,
over?
according
Is
to
this
the
over
script,
already?
according to the script, not generally. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me about three biggest learnings you had before turning 20, and who would you give credit to for those learnings?
Oh my god,
And these
I
are the
would.
learnings which you want to keep them as a life lesson for your whole life.
Okay, so the one thing that I would like to like think for this question, but the first thing which is coming to my mind right now is definitely always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. If you don't have a backup plan, you might just regret it later. I'm telling you, this is like life lesson. This is like a very big experience. But when you're choosing streams and when you're giving entrance exams and when you're selecting colleges, you should have a backup plan all the time. You should not stick to one decision. You should not get attached to one profession or one college or anything. Just always have a backup plan for everything. Sometimes people say that having a backup plan, if you have a backup plan, you don't work on the plan A perfectly. But what I think is that work on plan A as much as you can, but accept the fact that there is a possibility, even if it is like 0.001%, that this might fail.
Hmm.
Like this might not work. Be okay with it and have a plan B. Move on. So this is one lesson that I have, and it's such a big lesson. And now I have backup plans. I have so many backup plans. And like, don't overthink it. Just have a logical backup plan and have your backup plan as something which is doable, which you are confident about. Ki, this is something which will definitely work. So that is one thing. That is definitely my first lesson. I'm thinking about my second lesson. Okay.
I
This
guess
just
you
makes me
got this
contemplate
lesson
life.
from after getting out from the
After
school.
after yes, after my 12th, realized this and I was like, oh my god, we are going
You were
downhill, aren't we?
were you trying for a medical college?
I was.
Okay, but you failed, unluckily.
Yes, I mean, I rethought my decision, and even after, you know, not exactly failing. I think I just failed as a decision maker. Then I did not again have a backup plan. I stuck to one decision, and there was this time period where I thought to myself that, okay, now I don't want to do this. Like, I don't think I want to do this anymore because I decided this profession when I was 16 years old and I was 17 years old and now I'm 19. I don't want to do this anymore. And I did not research properly on the profession, by the way. So
Okay.
it was, so when I realized the entirety and when I realized my own capability that there are so many other things which I can do. So I rethought my decision. I stepped back, even though I did get into the college. I stepped back and I waited, and then I got here. So that's how I basically learned this. And it took me a lot of time to, accept this fact that you always need to have a backup plan. Because first I used to be this person who used to be so attached to decisions. If I have, like, I used to be this person who's like, okay, if I have decided this, I will show it to the world that I can do this. But you don't have to do anything to show it to the world. You just have to do something for your own life.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, just have a backup plan.
Great.
Because it is scary if you don't have a backup plan. I think secondly would be something along the lines that don't take a lot of things seriously. Like you don't have to take everything. What I mean is, of course, like take academics and everything seriously, but there are so many things, like tiny things in life. Like you are a tiny person. Not everything matters. There are the only thing you can't really categorize things which matter, but sometimes you don't realize that you're wasting energy on something which is so small. Again, you just need to sit with yourself and breathe for 2 minutes, take out your journal, take a pen, and write what's going on, and then you will realize that this is such a small problem. So basically, be a little chill and you know, just be with yourself, and then you will finally realize, like, be calm, like, don't panic. That's what I mean, I guess. But I'm still learning. I'm just 20. I just like to think that I'm only 20. There are so many things that I have to do in life. I'm just a tiny person right now. Like, I have to experience so much. So when you ask me this question, it becomes a little. I feel very old, basically. But firstly, is definitely a backup plan. Secondly, is definitely be a little chill with things and don't panic. Even though I panicked today for my physics exam, I will still say don't panic. I mean, you can panic for academics, it's fine. But again, even academics is something which can be solved very easily. Like if you sit with yourself and if you manage your time perfectly, like which is what I'm doing this end sem cycle, I am actually managing my time quite well. Even though I did not sleep last night, I am managing my time quite well. And lastly, I don't have a perfect answer for my last. I mean, I would like to give this question a lot of thought, but for the sake of spontaneity, I think I would say something along the lines of that um, make good connections, I guess, with people, and you be okay with the fact that like learn to be with yourself, learn to be with yourself and like enjoy your own company. That's the best thing. I love being on my own and I don't mind being alone at all, but at the same time I also love being with my friends. I love meeting people. I love making conversation. I love being on this podcast. I love meeting people. I love having conversations, experiences, and of course perspectives. I love your podcast is something that I love. So
Thank you.
um, yes. So basically, learn to enjoy your own company, and but at the same time, um, just kind of I don't know how to put this into words. Again, it's the void of words basically. So if there is a void, just marketing my own book casually. But if there is a void in you and you're trying to fill that void with various things, anything materialistic, people, this, that, friends, you have to, in the end, you have to come to peace with the fact that you will have to fill that void on your own. You will have to do something for yourself and sit with yourself and listen to your own emotions, listen to your own head. And that's when you realize that this void can be filled on my own and learn to be just happy. I don't know, man. I'm sounding like a 20-year-old, 80-year-old grandma. But,
No,
you
no.
know, just, just chill, man.
Definitely, I
like,
would like to
I
add
think,
one thing. As you said, the void could be filled by our own self, and when
yes,
we say that, it gives the fact that no one in our life is permanent. I got that feeling
yes,
very recently when, and I have been being an introvert. I would like some advices from you for the connections because I don't really have many great connections, not
it's all
very
right.
less, I guess, and they too feel like sometimes it scares me like uh, how long are they gonna last in my life? Like
I get that.
one of the friend who is currently someone who appreciated and motivated me to make this podcast. She's someone who I feel blessed to have that in that part of my time. She motivated and forced me to begin this podcast, and after her motivation only, I began doing it with a passion. She was the one who designed the logo for my podcast. The
That's great.
introduction line was written by her, and even a lot of ideas she gave it to me. But currently, uh, I am being ghosted. So
Oh,
she
so
means a lot to
I'm
me.
sorry for you.
But
It is fine.
I have
I'll
to,
tell you
and
something.
it has been a long time after she ghosted me. So I need to believe that nothing is permanent. A particular person has a particular span in our life, and when that span gets over, he would leave. And the reason could be anything, a very small reason or a very big reason. But we just need to believe the fact that no one is permanent in our life. So I got that learning, and that is something great. And I would like you
It
to
is
advise something for making good connections. Being
okay.
an
So
extrovert, because as an introvert, me, I'm just comfortable sitting in front of my laptop. I don't
I
talk
get
much in public places or anywhere else.
it is fine. On you being ghosted, and on people, first of all, not people not being permanent in your life. That is, this is exactly what I was talking about. You need to fill the void on your own, and people just come and go, and they just add to your happiness. Like that's what their job is.
Hmm.
They come, they add to your happiness, and if there is a time where they have to leave, they will leave. You can't really control it. You can talk to them, have a conversation with them, maybe keep in touch, but it is okay if people go. Don't force anything so much to a point where you break your own routine, you break your own well-being. So that's just where you draw the line. And on advice, on making connections, I'll tell you one thing. I came to college and we had a freshers week. I was practically speaking to everyone in my batch on freshers week. During freshers week, I made so not friends, I just knew so many people. Like even now, after one semester being ended, I identify so many people, but now I hardly talk. Like my group has shrunken day by day, day by day, day by day. But this is something I realized here, that you may know people, but it is very hard to make friends, and to make connections is very easy because you can join societies. You could join, firstly, you could join societies. I mean, obviously, you are a third year student, you know that you can join societies. You are probably in many of the societies in your university. But secondly, you could definitely just go up and just say hello to people. It is completely fine. You just go and say
That's
hello to people.
scary.
What's the worst that could happen? They would just find you, they would just judge you, and that is fine because they hardly know you and they hardly made an impact on your life. So it's fine if people judge you. I am okay with being judged. I'm at a point where I just don't care because I have been so cringy during my school years, and I have been judged so much for doing random stuff that at this point I'm like, okay, I can film in public, I can run in the middle of the road randomly, I can do embarrassing things, and I'll be fine with it. It's very chill. But what I was saying was that just go up to people and randomly say hi. And on making connections, you are a great person who can make conversation. Clearly, you have a podcast and you can make online connections very clearly. You have LinkedIn and everything, but to make connections in real life, I think you have to maybe help people with something, help people with video editing, tell people that you have certain skills which you could help them with, and collaborate with people on projects. And when you work with people, that's when you know them, and that's when you meet them. Work is an excuse to meet people, and you slowly start hanging out with them, and that's how you make friends. That's how you, like, I think, extend your circle and be with people who add to your energy and not drain your energy. That's how I like to go about it.
Okay. I guess on making online connections is bit easier than making offline connections for me personally, because when I was going through that period, I had no real connections to talk to or meet and just sit on in a park and talk. So I made online connections. I told you about that application, as
Yes.
I wasn't really interested in dating someone or anything. I was just interested in I would get someone to talk to, because during that time I had no one. It was my third semester going on, but as it was online, I had no connections in the college as well, and literally I don't remember a single thing that I did during those time, because it was whenever someone goes through this through that phase, it's like it get those memories get erased from the brain after you get out of it. So I got some online friends through that app, which I have stopped using. uh, and then I realized, I began talking with random people, and It was I was motivated to have the conversation. I wasn't expecting other to answer. I was just like, I need to express myself, because I had been in a cage for a long time, and now it was getting overwhelmed. I would have done anything wrong, but I had to escape out of it. So I talked and talked and talked, and then I realized I made a very some of the great connections online, which I feel proud of. And those are something which gave me those things which I don't think I can ever return them. So making online connections is bit easy, and making offline, it's like a scary thing. Saying hello to a person, it's
I
like,
get that. It is
how
scary.
when I
I like
am
to,
saying hello to a person, why am I saying hello to that person?
because you want to make a connection. Like always, you can, if you want to like start talking to someone, just ask them. Like in your class, hey, could you help me with this? Hey, do you have this? Hey, where are you going after this? Hey, did you collect papers from mom? Anything. There are so in college. There are so many excuses you could talk to people. You have so many excuses to speak to people. And when I came here, and when I was like talking to like so many people, the reason I could just go up to people and randomly talk to them is because I just told myself everybody's as confused as you.
That's something very
That was
great.
great. But I was just saying that when I came here and when I was making like friends with all of these people, I told myself, nobody has friends here. Everybody's as confused as you. So go up to people, say hello, ask them their branch, ask them what societies they want to join, and you eventually get reasons to talk to them because you know their interest, you know which branch they are in, so you can like form connections, ask them which hostel they are living in, go for a coffee with them, anything. I made so many friends which I don't talk to right now, but initially I used to vibe with so many people. I used to go just drinking cold coffee with people I made friends with here, and I would just go grab a snack in the campus, walk around, come back to our hostels, and it used to be fun. And when I now if I go up to them, they will speak to me exactly like they did, because there's something like spending quality time with people, like just grabbing a snack with someone. And if you don't like, if you, since you are an introvert, if you don't like being in social situations, being in front of a lot of people, like even if it's a group of four, hang out with two people, hang out with one person, it's completely all right. And you don't have to hang out with them forever. You can just hang out with them 1 or 2 hours, and if you feel okay, that was not really my vibe, you can not ghost them, but definitely just you can realize what matches your vibe, what doesn't match your vibe. It's like making friends is not that, it can be difficult, but making connections is very easy. Making connections is just like going up to people, hanging out with them, spending quality time with them, and making them such an acquaintance that they can help you in the future, because that's what connections are. They, you grow your network.
Yeah, mutual help. I guess we have talked a lot about these
We
things.
have talked a lot about these things, and when you asked me the question about the third three lessons, while you was speaking, I kind of compiled them into mind. So the first lesson is definitely a backup plan. The second lesson is being a little chill and cool with yourself, and third lesson is definitely trying to enjoy your own company.
Hmm.
So I think that's how. Even though I'm an extrovert, I love my own company because I love being around myself. Learning to kind of be with yourself is fun because then you realize more about yourself. And I kind of realize that I'm a very chaotic personality. There is so many things which are going on in my head, and I just love being this colorful and this chaotic.
Okay.
Although I'm enjoying this a lot, but this doesn't even feel like the first time I'm interacting with you. This is very comfortable and definitely a very healthy and productive conversation about things we both love doing, like journaling and writing and making connections and talking to people.
That's what is for me. When I'm with one person, I can be completely myself and speak a lot of things. But when
Yes,
there are two or more people, I'm like, what am I supposed to
exactly.
speak?
I get that. Exactly. I said that. See, I have my roommate is a big introvert. She hates being in like big social situations. So I tell her that, just hang out with me or just hang out with people. Just hang out with one on one. You hang out with just one or two people and just try to be comfortable around them. Um, and then slowly, slowly you will realize that And it's also all right just to hang out with like a couple of people, not a bunch of people or a group. Actually, the less, quality over
Quality
quantity.
matters
So
over quantity.
exactly. So now that I told you, right, when I came here, Freshers Week, I knew so many people. And now I do know them. And if I go up to them, they will help me for something. They won't say no. But speaking of friends, I have a couple of friends. And they are of quality, hopefully. But I like being around them. And that's what really matters. Just be around people who don't drain your energy. And just start small. Just hang out with one person, two people. And slowly you can increase your circle if you want.
Definitely. Today I had a great day actually because I had
Oh,
no
that's
class
nice.
today. All
Perfect.
day was free. I completed my to-do list. Each of the things were completed by before noon itself. I completed everything from my to-do list. I wake
That
up at
is
5,
great.
though it was extremely cold. Uh, it was fog all around the hostel.
I get that. It is very difficult to wake up during this time.
But I got the an idea for that.
Okay.
I've been waking up. I was living in Uttarakhand at my
Okay.
home, and their temperature goes in the morning. It's 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, but I have to
Okay.
get up because it's like a thing which has gone into my subconscious, and now whenever I wake up after 7, there's a headache for the whole day on
Okay.
me. So
Okay.
I have to wake up before 7.
So your
And
body cycle just forces you to wake up at that time
yeah,
because, or else it will just, tire itself.
and when I wake up, as it is too cold, I just begin doing random things. Like this year, it is one of my resolution that I have to do 50 push-ups every day. So I
Okay.
just wake
That's
up,
good.
do 50 push-ups, and after doing 50 push-ups, it's like cold
You don't
isn't
want to
there.
go back to bed. You don't want to go back to bed.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is also a good idea. Just wake up, do something physical, like walk around or work out or do push-ups, something like that, which makes your body warm and you won't feel like going to back to bed again because you know, your entire body is active and energized now.
And more important thing, just after doing the push-ups, get your bed cleaned. Remove the blanket from the bed.
Oh my, I do this. The
If you
moment I
remove
wake
it,
up from my
it's
bed.
like you don't get the motivation to bring the blanket again.
Exactly. The moment I get out of my bed, I wear my slippers, and the first thing that I do is that I fold my blanket completely. I don't want my bed to look comfortable after that at all, because or else I will sleep.
Yeah, that was my motivation to get up, wake up
That's good.
early. And right now, its
That's really
temperature
impressive.
here is I'm in Patna right now, and it's fog all around. And luckily, uh, as you said previously, that we should have a backup plan. It's
Yes.
goes the same for dreams as well. Like when I began preparation for the J's, I had a dream that I shall get a college which is at seashore, like NIT
Oh,
Surat, NIT Calicut, or some place which has a seaport near it. I was
okay.
all the time during the drop year. I was thinking about that, and unluckily, I didn't got the seashore NIT, but I got a riverside NIT. You won't believe
You
the
at
river
least
Ganga is just beside my hostel.
that is great. That is great because at least you got the water.
Yeah.
Your dreams, you almost predicted it, so that's nice.
I'm strangely attracted to water. So when I got my father motivated me somehow to get into the drop year and do the preparation, which I wasn't ready for earlier. He manipulated me somehow because he's my father. He
I
knows
mean,
how
parents
would
know
I
how to do
understand.
everything.
So I got finally here in IT Patna, and I was like, I dreamt of sea and I got a river. So that means that I need to dream as high as possible. Only
And then
then
you
I
will
could
get
achieve
something,
at least
achieve
half
your
of it.
goal. Yes, that is a good way to put it, a good metaphor to, frame it as.
Yeah,
You could use that in some of your books.
maybe because those
Yes.
things are non-fiction, so I would use it in podcast, because all my fiction, whatever I write, is all fiction, and whatever I
Yes.
speak is non-fiction.
Yes.
I can't write a script for the podcast. Like for this episode, I wrote only 5 or 6 questions. Only questions, nothing else. Just the introduction line and 4 or 5 questions what I think I should ask.
Okay.
And when it would come to writing a story on you, like I actually write the story on the character or the person I have met in real life. Like the book I have written, its name is The Adventures of My Online Friends.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
that was the time i I wrote the book, wrote the stories on the characters I met through that application. I met
Okay.
around a lot of people, but some were very significant to me, and I thought that I could uh, have give them their importance by writing a story on them, and I used their character, their name, as well as however how much I knew about them. Those personality traits I added to the story and wrote the story on them, and that's how it got the name Adventures of My Online Friends.
That is actually very interesting because, and who would have thought you are writing about the people you met online during COVID and the lockdown? That's impressive.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the
Thank you.
conversation?
I loved being here since this was my first ever feature and a collaboration. I enjoyed being here and I did not know that the process would be this smooth and the conversation would go this like flowy and almost like water, as you said, because you are really attracted to water. So it's great. I loved being here, absolutely.
Thank you for being on my podcast. I would like to have more collaborations in future.
Of
Thank
course.
you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
That's all for today. See you next time. Till then,
Thank you.
stay sane and keep exploring. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.